Welcome to the Weekly Well. For the next few weeks, I want to look at our response, or a typical response, to those times when God just doesn't make sense, or when His answers to our prayers are kind of confusing. So I want to read a couple of verses out of 2 Corinthians chapter 12. We're going to start at verse 7, or a little partway into verse 7. And this may be familiar to some of us. But it says, 2 Corinthians 12 in verse 7, "So, to keep me from becoming proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time He said, 'My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness.' So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me." I know that in my own life, when I am able to do things and they're successful and they go well, and I do them in my own strength, I tend to become a little proud or boastful. And I sometimes think maybe I don't need God because I clearly can do this or that or the other thing. I'm good at this. I can do it. And I think what God needs to do for me is to continually keep me a little more humble. And so when I get situations in my life that are confusing to me or don't make sense, when God doesn't seem to make sense, or when His answers to my prayer seem to be radically different from the way I envision or in terms of the things that I want, it can be a little frustrating. But I have to recognize that God is telling me, as He was telling Paul here in 2 Corinthians, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." You see, as children of God, as witnesses for God, as ambassadors for God, it's not about us. And it's not about us appearing strong. In fact, God's strength can come through when it's painfully obvious that we in our flesh are weak. And so I have to be able to, like Paul, embrace those times, and as he said, boast about my weakness, which sounds very strange, very counterintuitive. Boast about my weakness. Why? Because when I am weak, then Christ is strong. And so as we go through these next couple of weeks, looking at difficult situations, let's look for those things where Christ can be strong in us and strong for us. I pray that you would be blessed this week. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.